Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Wednesday already, hump day. And all of our guests today, including John Shannon, 100% Hockey Podcast, standing by, brought to you by our title sponsor, Able Auctions, ableauctions.ca. Canucks and Islanders tonight in New York as the Canucks resume their 6-game road trip. John Shannon joins us now from the 100% Hockey Podcast. Thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Great, boys. How are you?
Very well. You are the pride of Oliver, BC, so just down the road, Penticton. Will the Western Hockey League work in Penticton?
Oh, without a doubt, in my mind. I think that, and for a couple of reasons. First of all, we all know that what Freddie Arbison and the guys have done in Penticton in the BCHL, it has always been one of the best run Tier 2. I know we're not supposed to use that anymore, but Tier 2 teams throughout the country. His contacts in the college world, their scouting has been amazing. I think that will actually put them in great advantage with the new CHL NCAA agreement coming into place. The building is spectacular. You guys have both been there. It is, and it's not the biggest market. There's probably about, I would say, 55 to 60,000 people between Okanagan Lake and the border there, but I think it'll work fine. Their problem might be their building might be too big, simply because with 5,000 seats, I'm not sure I need to buy a season ticket to the hockey club rather than creating a demand for it. There'll always be good seats available, but it'll be a great success there.
Yeah, such a proud hockey history there. BC Hockey Hall of Fame's there. Duncan Keith, Andy Moog, the list goes on. All sorts of successful teams too. Hey, John. Wouldn't it have been just spectacular? Because so many times in sports, in life, in big expectations, and you get let down by something in the entertainment world. But being in Winnipeg last night, 3-2 for the Jets in overtime over the Capitals, two top teams in the league, and Ovechkin gets another goal to move within 6 of passing Wayne Gretzky. Wouldn't that have been special to be there last night?
If you're a Jets fan, that was the perfect story last night.
It was.
You get to watch history with Ovechkin and goal 8-9. The Jets play a very physical game. It was a great goalie matchup between Thompson and Hellebuck. The Jets do it without Gabe Vilardi and Neil Pionk in the lineup, and then Nick Ehlers scores in overtime. It was a spectacular night. The nice thing from my perspective, by the way, that pass from Dylan Sandberg doesn't get enough credit for setting Ehlers up. It was a great bank pass. I think Luke Shen talked about Sandberg's ability to play pool in Minnesota. That was the key. But the whole concept of what is going on in Winnipeg right now, that was the 11th sellout of the season. That's 3 in a row. This team has not really received as much credit in the city of Winnipeg. They need to sell out a few more games because they're one of the most entertaining teams in hockey.
Who do you think, and I think it's fair for me to ask this, who do you think would win a Stanley Cup final between those two?
Well, if Vilardi and Pionk are there, the answer is I would go with the Jets. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what, it would be so close. And the difference for me might end up being the goaltending. And there's going to be lots of people that say that Logan Thompson's who's had a spectacular year and will be a finalist for the Vezina. But Connor Hellebuck is supposed to be the best goalie in hockey and has proved it this year. And if they're able to find a way, both of those teams, to get to the Stanley Cup final, I give the Jets the edge because of goaltending.
John, in Vancouver, there's so much talk about Rick Tocchet and his future. He won't talk contract till the end of the season. What's your gut saying there? He wins the Jack Adams last year, and here we are a year later. He's got no deal, and, we can now honestly say it's probably 50-50 if he returns.
Well, I'll be disappointed if he doesn't, because I think that he has a really good pedigree as an NHL coach. I think he's proved that. He's the same coach that took this team to the Pacific Division title last year. It has not been a fun season. You know, I heard the three of you guys talk about it in the last segment. You know, the whole Pettersson-Miller debacle created a black cloud that was difficult to get from underneath.
Yep.
It's funny. I do finally think they're out from that, but it's just too late, I think, for the team to make the playoffs. I just don't see Tocchet as a quitter. I don't. I think he believes that he's a good coach. He needs to keep proving to himself that he's a good coach. So my gut says he stays. But Donnie brought up a really good point. And you can clip that for the future.
Oh, my gosh. Already have.
Run it.
If he's not having fun, why do it? You know, we're at the age now, you got to have fun with this. You know, you've got to enjoy yourself. And I think Rick's at that point in his life. He can go back to television, make a really good living, enjoy himself with his pals at TNT. But it's in his DNA to be a competitor and to be an NHLer. But if you're not having fun, it's just not worth it.
You know who's a competitor? Patrick Waugh. Boy, he was fuming over that disallowed goal the other night. He ripped Toronto. I haven't seen a fine for him yet. I don't know if he got fined.
He won't get fined. He will not get fined.
Okay, so
he will not get fined.
But when you are a head coach and you take a shot at Toronto like that was interesting, John.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I had been coaching the New York Islanders, I would have said the exact same thing, and I would have been prepared to pay the $25,000. I thought it was a goal. In the talks that I've had in the last 48 hours with the guys at the league, we have talked through it multiple times. I still think it's a goal. And to me, they have put the goalie interference. And the irony of all this is Rick, that this was the major discussion at the managers meeting last week.
Yes.
How are we on the right track with goaltender interference? And the answer is everybody thought they were on the right track. Of the 54 examples they showed the managers, there was a consensus that they had 51 of them correct. 51. So the challenge then is why were they so... Why on this Monday night did this create a problem for the league and for the Islanders? Now, the Islanders have been involved in more goaltender interference calls than anybody else in the league, 18. So from that perspective, I can see if you're an Islander fan, you feel like you're snake bit. But when you look at this, I don't think that Merzlikins was interrupted. I think he could reset. I think he pushed off Palmieri, and he could be in that position so that he could still see the puck. He still saw the puck when he moved his blocker to try to catch the puck, and it still went in. So now, had they called it a goal on the ice, they would have allowed the goal to be scored. But this goes to Mike Markovich, the referee, who was adamant it was a non-goal, and so they stuck with that. It was a split decision. I can tell you that. It was a split decision in the war room in that situation, and that's how close this one was. But they left it in the hands of the referee on the ice.
Sorry, John, I laughed in the middle of that video there, just looking at Patrick Waugh's reaction. I can only imagine what he wanted to say. No, there was nobody in the blue, no Islander in the blue at the crucial moment. That's what they talked about last week.
Right, but the key was that Palmieri did go in there. He did contact Merzlikins. Yep. Then he left, and if you watch it again, Merzlikins pushes him away. So that means that he's in a position to change it. If you watch it, watch his catching glove. He pushes him away, and he sees the puck coming. There's no doubt in my mind he sees the puck coming, and there's no. And here's the thing: that shot was so good. There was probably a good chance, even if he saw it from the point, that it would have counted. Yeah. So that's the real challenge. It's too bad that it happened this way. Now, if they had disallowed it, we would still be having this same discussion because people in Columbus would be complaining.
Yes.
But the New York Islanders feel a little snake bit, and I can understand.
Yeah, two teams trying to make the playoffs. Okay, John, we got to let you go, but I got to ask you this. Did you say moments ago that you can make a really good living in television? What decade are we in here?
Well, it's a cumulative, right?
It is now.
Hey, listen, Donnie. We've had the time of our life in this business.
Absolutely.
Are you kidding me? You could have had a real job.
Yeah.
You could have had a real job. And as I tell people, the only calluses on these hands are from the 7-iron. Okay? It's not a problem. Life is pretty good when you think about what we've done all these years. As I said, when I told Spencer Carberry on Friday, I loved listening to Donnie Taylor and watching him when I was growing up.
I know Spencer feels the same way, and Rick Tocchet too. I have a lot of fun listening to Spencer Carberry do his post-game talks in the dressing room. It's just fabulous.
Hey, we had him on Friday, and there's a story in there about a Wayne Gretzky hockey stick that is really cool. And by the way, Carberry has never met Gretzky. So when the Ovechkin race gets close to 894, Spencer's going to be just like a kid in the candy store meeting Wayne Gretzky for the first time.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to listen to and watch, and he's doing a hell of a job. John, thanks for this. Appreciate it.
Cheers, boys.
Next week.